it could turn criminal really fast. They're just using a civil suit to knock down a lot of your money. I'm seeing this happen with a lot of rappers, a lot of athletes, and people are not paying attention to.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
Looks like this Shannon Sharpe drama just took a wild turn, way deeper than anyone expected. Mace just jumped in, and the man's convinced Shannon's not just in trouble. He's heading straight for a jail cell. According to Mace, this civil lawsuit, that's just the warm-up.
Want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be, don't manipulate me.
I don't know that mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit on you when I see you.
He's saying it's part of a setup to drain Shannon's bank account. So when the real heat, the criminal case, hits, Shannon won't have the cash to defend himself properly. And crazy thing is, Mace might not be wrong, because more and more people are stepping forward with fresh allegations, and each one way nastier than the last. This could be the end of everything Shannon built. ESPN might drop him like a bad habit. That podcast bag, gone. TV deals, canceled. And those young dudes who used to call him UNC, they might not even speak his name anymore. So now the question is Shannon really guilty, or is he getting set up big time? And where did all these new claims suddenly come from? It's getting wild out here. Everybody's throwing in their opinion about what's going on with Shannon. Some folks still ride for him, but others, they're already labeling him guilty. But Mace, he's warning people, the civil case ain't even the real threat. The criminal case building behind the scenes, that's the one that might bury Shannon for good.
Oh, this is what I'm getting at. And for him to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million if I know I didn't do anything.
When Mace pulled up on It Is What It Is with Cameron and dropped his take, he wasn't sugarcoating a thing.
And I think the only reason the 10 million didn't work, Killer, I want to know how you feel about this. I think the 10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right? So if there's a pimp, right? Why y'all keep laughing at?
He said the first red flag was that $10 million Shannon allegedly offered his accuser. Mace was like, how did nobody tell him that was a terrible move?
Right there. For real? Yeah, that worth a lot of money. You know how guys be, and they pushed her on her. And then she said 10. He was like, 10 is my 10. You gotta put in your number for yourself. That don't have nothing to do with mine. 10 is mine. That's what we discussed. I'm just telling.
No matter how you twist it, trying to hand over a fat check after getting accused of something that serious just screams guilt. Mace didn't hold back. He said straight up, offering to pay off your accuser makes you look crazy guilty. But wait, that's not all Mace had to say. He threw in a twist that sounded kind of funny at first, until you really stop and think about it. And then, it gets creepy. So here's the wild part. According to Mace, the fact that Shannon's accuser still took things to court after he allegedly offered her a massive payout, that's what raised the biggest red flag. Here's some context. The woman accusing Shannon is listed in the court docs as Jane Doe, but the internet did what it always does. Online sleuths say she's Gabriela Zuniga, a 21-year-old of model known as Gabby. And her claims, they're nothing to brush off. Gabby says she met Shannon at a gym in Los Angeles when she was just 19, and Shannon was already 54. According to her, Shannon didn't waste any time trying to get with her. Eventually, they started a relationship, but Gabby claims it was nothing sweet. She says Shannon was controlling, expected her to be on call 24/7, and tracked her when she wasn't with him. But that's not even the craziest part. Things reportedly spiraled after that huge mess last year when Shannon accidentally went live on Instagram while he was in bed with someone else. Yeah, that moment blew up fast. Gabby says she felt humiliated and tried to cut ties with him. But Shannon? He allegedly wasn't having it. She claims he kept pushing to meet up, saying they needed to talk things through. But when she finally let him come over, that's when things took a dark turn. According to the court filings, he allegedly got aggressive, and what happened next is now the center of this entire case. She says she was crying and begging him to stop, but according to her, he didn't, and that wasn't the end of it. Fast forward to January 2025, Shannon allegedly showed up at her place again, claiming he just wanted to drop off some gifts. But when he got inside, she says things turned ugly all over again. This time, she claims he didn't respect any of her boundaries. She reportedly asked him to use protection several times and says he ignored her. She also accused him of crossing a serious line in an extremely personal way without her agreement. After that incident, Gabby allegedly sent Shannon a gut-wrenching message. According to the court docs, she texted, "I cried when you left because I begged you to put one on and not go there. And you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no." But then, things got even messier. Not long after the lawsuit hit the public, Shannon's legal team leaked a batch of texts that Gabby had sent to him before the alleged incidents, and they paint a completely different picture. In one message from October 7th, 2023, she allegedly wrote, "I want you to put a collar around my neck and hold it tight while we're getting it in." Then, on January 1st, just days before the second reported event, another message read, "I know you miss this big juicy body, $25,000 per cheek." That's the kind of message that got everybody talking. There's more, a string of texts with wild talk, intense requests, and flirty lines like, "Only if you give me your full energy, then I can do whatever I want to me." Or even, "I want to taste you and then marry you. That's my man, I want your legacy in me." The internet exploded. Some said these messages showed Gabby was playing both sides. Others argued that no text, no matter how wild, ever cancels out the word no. You better want it, because once you get it, you're stuck with it for life after you give me that baby. That's what Gabby allegedly texted Shannon. And honestly, nobody's quite sure what Shannon's lawyer was thinking when he leaked those messages, because if the goal was to help his image, it backfired hard. But things didn't stop there, they got crazier. Gabby's lawyer, Tony Busby, that Tony Busby, the same guy who's handled huge cases, came back swinging with some explosive audio recordings of Shannon. And what's in those clips? Disturbing stuff. In the first one, Shannon can allegedly be heard threatening Gabby, telling her he's gonna choke her and that she doesn't have a choice. People were stunned. But then came a second recording, and this one made things even messier. Shannon allegedly sounded like he was ready to get physical with her. Again, no jokes, no denial, just straight up aggression in his tone.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. It is what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you.
I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
But now the plot thickens. Some folks are claiming the audio might have been edited, that certain parts were cut or rearranged to make Shannon look even worse than he already does. And now people are asking, is this really about a toxic relationship gone wrong? Or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes? That's exactly why Mace said it made no sense for Gabby to reject that $10 million offer. He felt like if the accusations were shaky, and considering how hard it is to prove this kind of case in court, the payout should have been more than enough to settle it quietly. And let's be real. With Gabby as a background, a slick legal team could have easily painted her as someone chasing clout and cash. That's the ugly game of public opinion. But instead, she turned it down. And that's what's got everybody wondering what's really going on here. Mace threw out a theory that's got people really talking.
Pray all of this is like a fallacy or some kind of hoax or something like this, because he was about to get a bunch of money. And you know, when you're about to get a bunch of money, people that hate on you just wait until you're about to get that money and rain on your parade. But we can't say that. And that's why I wanted to say it, to get Stats' opinion. I knew when I said that she was going to go, yeah.
He suggested Gabby walking away from that $10 million settlement wasn't just her decision. He believes there are other players in the background.
No, you can't be on your way to 100 million. I keep telling Killer, right? And niggas picking these kind of girls. You can't do that. We talked about this with Ant-Man. We talked about this with several players. You just can't do that. You about to get 100 million. You can't throw it away for IG model. Is she an IG model?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. How does that work?
She got her separate account and she do her thing on there and people pay.
And here's where it gets even wilder. Mace claims all this heat landed on Shannon right when he was about to secure a massive $100 million podcast deal. He might have said it with a laugh, but once the clip hit the internet, folks in the comments started asking the real question.
We also got to start paying attention, fellas, when they're telling you it's a civil suit. Don't feel like that's just a civil suit. If it's civil suit, but it's something criminal, it could turn criminal really fast. They're just using a civil suit to knock down a lot of your money. I'm seeing this happen with a lot of rappers, a lot of athletes, and people are not paying attention to that. Another way that people are just green to the streets, you know.
Was Shannon being set up? But Mace didn't stop there. He said Shannon fell into the same trap so many powerful men walk right into, the kind where the first accusation is just the setup.
That's just one entity trying to walk away some of your money so that when they double back and say, well, this was you did this over here, because 9 times out of 10, if one girl say something, then somebody else gonna come say something, because they're like, people are getting paid and people are getting paid for nothing, and I really got some issues. Or they may really have a text or really have a message, and it's like, I don't know what to do or what to tell fellas now.
According to Mace, that first lawsuit, it's meant to get you rattled, drain your money, and mess with your image before the real storm even hits. He hinted that Shannon might be headed down the same road Diddy's been sliding down. It starts with one civil case, then another, and the next thing you know, the feds are knocking at your door. Now let's be clear, Mace didn't excuse any of the behavior these men have been accused of. He said plain and simple, nobody forced them to do anything, so this ain't about feeling sorry. But if the street talk is right, Shannon might be facing the darkest chapter of his life. And it's no longer just internet drama. It's jumping straight into the real world. The Gabby lawsuit was already a bombshell, but now more names and more stories are creeping out. People are digging into Shannon's past, and from the way things are moving, the man's closet might be full of skeletons. You already know how internet detectives roll. Once they smell something shady, they go full FBI mode, and they don't stop until they uncover everything. When Shannon's lawsuit started going viral, internet detectives wasted no time. They went digging deep into his past, looking for anything that might explain the behavior he's being accused of now. And trust, what they found was wild. One bombshell that popped up, Shannon was allegedly accused of choking a woman back when he was still co-hosting FS1's Undisputed. Yep, you heard that right. Word is, the incident involved a female production assistant, and according to insiders, it happened on set. Sources claim that Shannon and Fox didn't wait around for it to explode publicly. Instead, they reportedly paid the woman off, hundreds of thousands, and never let it reach a courtroom. No official lawsuit, no trial, just a fast, quiet settlement and a whole lot of behind-the-scenes cleanup. Allegedly, both Fox and Shannon's legal teams hustled to keep the story buried, and for a while, it worked. You try searching for it online and it's like the story barely existed, but the internet never forgets. And once this current case caught fire, people started resurfacing the old tea. Once Shannon's team saw this chokehold story picking up steam online, they jumped straight into damage control mode. His lawyers put out a statement denying everything, saying there was no choking incident at FS1, but then they added something that had everybody scratching their heads. They admitted Shannon was involved in what they called light physical interaction in a playful context with a few colleagues. What? What does that even mean? That phrasing had folks side-eyeing the whole situation. Like, are they saying it was a joke? A game? Because when the words choking and playful show up in the same sentence, something doesn't feel right. No matter how hard they try to spin it, it's clear that Shannon's past is getting dragged into the spotlight. And the deeper people dig, the more complicated this whole thing gets. And seriously, how is playful interaction supposed to explain choking someone out? That excuse had people looking sideways. But hold on, because it gets even messier. Another disturbing case has now resurfaced, this time involving Shannon's ex, Michelle Evans. Michelle took legal action back in 2023, suing Shannon for defamation after first getting a restraining order against him. According to court records, Michelle and Shannon were in a relationship for nearly 10 years. But it all came crashing down in September 2010. She says it ended after she confronted him for cheating, and during that argument, everything spiraled. Michelle claims that Shannon got violent, and what she describes is deeply disturbing. She says he forced her into a non-consensual act and afterward pushed her onto the bed and violated her while telling her that he would make sure no other man would ever want her. That exact phrase, it stopped people cold because it's the same thing Gabby says he told her during their alleged incident.
I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself.
Gabby's court filing claims that in October 2024, Shannon came to her apartment after she tried to end things with him. She says he forced her to perform on him and then told her, "You've disrespected me so much. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." According to Gabby, what happened next was traumatic. She says he violated her from behind and said, "Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is." All while she was sobbing uncontrollably. Now here's the chilling part. Both women, years apart, claim Shannon used nearly identical words during violent episodes. That kind of pattern, it's got people asking whether this was just a toxic relationship gone wrong, or something far more sinister. Michelle also said that after the alleged assault, Shannon's behavior turned extremely violent. Whatever happened behind closed doors, both women's stories are stacking up, and the internet is watching every move. With Michelle's case resurfacing and Gabby's lawsuit still heating up, people are starting to realize this might not be some isolated scandal. This could be the unraveling of Shannon Sharpe's entire legacy. And now, more whispers are coming out. A few former co-workers, folks who used to work behind the scenes, have started dropping hints that Shannon's behavior off camera wasn't always as polished as his TV persona. One anonymous staff member even said he had two sides: the professional on screen and the man behind closed doors that people were scared to cross. That comment alone lit up forums and group chats across the internet. Suddenly, the question wasn't just, is Shannon guilty? It became, how long has this been going on? And while Shannon's lawyers are doing everything they can to push back against the wave of accusations, the damage may already be done. Public opinion is shifting fast. Brands are going quiet. Business partners are distancing themselves. That $100 million podcast deal everyone was hyped about might be off the table now. But here's what really has people spinning. Despite all this, Shannon still hasn't addressed any of the new claims directly. No video statement, no interview, nothing but a few cold press releases from his legal team. And to some fans, that silence is deafening. Meanwhile, Gabby's lawyer is doubling down. He says more evidence is coming, and it's going to shock people who think they already know the full story. That one sentence sent the whole internet into overdrive. So what's next? More lawsuits? A federal case? A full media meltdown? One thing's clear. Shannon Sharpe isn't just fighting to clear his name anymore. He's fighting to save what's left of his career, his reputation, and his future. And with each passing day, the walls are closing in. As if things weren't already spiraling, now there's talk of a possible federal investigation brewing in the background. Yup, it's not just social media rumors anymore. Some insiders claim that law enforcement agencies have started poking around Shannon Sharpe's past, especially after the audio clips and old settlements came to light. One source said, once that second voice recording dropped, certain people in power started paying attention. If that's true, Shannon's problems might be bigger than any civil lawsuit, way bigger. And get this, fans are now digging through old interviews, podcast episodes, even Instagram lives looking for anything that might have slipped through the cracks. One clip from 2022 started trending again, where Shannon joked about training women to act right. It didn't raise eyebrows back then, but in this context, people are calling it disturbing. Even his supporters are feeling conflicted. Some are asking for due process. Others are backing away completely, saying the pattern is too loud to ignore. And the vibe in the comment sections, ugly. Every new post Shannon makes gets flooded with demands for answers, old screenshots, and people tagging news outlets. Meanwhile, Gabby hasn't gone silent either. Word is her team's planning a sit-down interview, possibly with a major network, to tell her side in full. If that happens, it's game over. Public opinion would shift instantly. Just one emotional interview could finish what the lawsuit started. And let's not forget, If more women come forward, this could become the next high-profile downfall in a long line of celebrity collapses. It's giving Diddy, it's giving Cosby, it's giving they thought it would never catch up to him. Right now, Shannon might still have money. He might still have a platform. But if things keep going like this, both could disappear fast.
You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about.
And when the feds get involved, that's a whole different kind of storm. Now here's where things hit a whole new level, because it's not just Shannon's past and present coming back to haunt him. It's his own words turning into weapons. Clips from old shows are resurfacing like wildfire. One from Club Shay Shay has people shook. In it, Shannon casually says, "Once you're in my world, you don't leave unless I let you." At the time, it sounded like confident banter. Now, folks are calling it a red flag in plain sight. And while the internet is doing its detective work, something else is happening behind the scenes. Shannon's inner circle is shrinking. Quiet unfollows on social media, canceled collabs, and dead silence from celebrities who used to praise him. No one wants to be the next person caught standing too close if this all explodes. But it's not just public perception that's turning. Major platforms are watching closely. His podcast streams are already taking a dip, and there's talk that certain sponsors are putting their deals on pause until this all plays out. Once the money starts walking away, that's when reality hits hard. And the irony? Shannon built his whole brand on calling out other people, holding them accountable, dragging bad behavior into the light. But now, he's the one being picked apart, quote by quote, action by action. The man who used to dominate every room with his voice, suddenly he's got nothing to say. But silence won't save him now. Because if there's one thing this era guarantees, the internet never forgets and it never lets up. Every message, every photo, every old story someone was too scared to tell before. It's all fair game now. The clock's ticking. And unless Shannon comes out with undeniable truth or a miracle, this might be the final chapter of a legacy that used to look untouchable. She says he started threatening to ruin her if she ever spoke up. The messages, the calls, the pressure, it didn't stop. According to Michelle, Shannon kept harassing her, stalking her, and making it clear that he was watching her every move. It got so intense she went to court and filed for a restraining order just to feel safe. Now that her lawsuit has resurfaced, Shannon's legal team didn't hold back. They fired off a statement slamming Michelle, saying she's just another person trying to cash in on the Shannon hate train. They called her story old news, full of fanciful exaggerations and blatant misrepresentations. They insist her claims have no merit, and that Shannon plans to fight every word. As for Gabby's lawsuit, Shannon called it a straight-up shakedown. He denies everything and says he's ready to defend himself. But let's be real. The court of public opinion is loud right now. Shannon might think he's in control, but from the outside, it's looking like this whole situation is way deeper than he expected. And if more pieces keep falling into place, that walk to jail might not be so far off. So now the question is, do you think Shannon's actually going to trial for any of this? Or is this just another scandal that'll blow over with time? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you want more raw, real stories like this, hit that subscribe, turn on the notifications, and check out the next one right here. Trust us, you don't want to miss what's coming next.